Spring season comes to a close for both Alabama and Georgia. We take a look at how both teams performed in their scrimmages yesterday and who stood out. And high school baseball playoffs are heating up. What made him so angry? Who advanced? And the teams who could win it all. It's all on The Last Call. Let's get it started. Hey there, welcome back to The Last Call. I'm your host, Justin Holbrook, back from a mini vacation. This past week, we had everything from high school signings to Alabama baseball playoffs and spring games for both Alabama and Georgia. Let's start there, since more than 150,000 people combined made their way to either Athens or Tuscaloosa to see their team in a scrimmage. We'll start with Georgia, where sports director Brendan Robertson got a first-hand look at the team. Kirby Smart asked for the fans to show up, and they definitely did. 82,184 of them to be exact. New year and a new competition at quarterback. Freshman quarterback Justin Fields trying to take the job from Jake Fromm, showing off his running ability, but it's still Fromm's team. This not going to help, though. He throws a pick six. Fromm, of course, took the job from veteran quarterback Jacob Eason last year. And then back at the kicker position is Rodrigo Blankenship. Specs knocks down the field goal, as he almost always does. And then a Brookstone grad, Prather Hudson, getting some action at running back, catches a pass here. We caught up with him and Fromm after the game.
A little different, but at the end of the day, for me, a lot of competition kind of comes within myself, and always kind of competing with myself, and just striving to be the greatest I can be.
I don't know. It's a team game, but I definitely wanted to make sure I could do really well in the pass protection. Try to be a third down back. That was a big emphasis for me that I really wanted to work on and get out in the pass and catch some balls.
Just like I was saying, just getting a lot more work and making sure that I'm bringing it every day and helping my teammates and pushing them as much as I can.
All right, over to Alabama, where there were nearly 75,000 fans in attendance. Georgia wins in that category. But as we all know, Alabama has the real bragging rights. For more on A-Day, we turn to our friends at WIAT in Birmingham.
Steak and beans on the line at Alabama's A-Day game as the Crimson Tide officially put an end to the spring football season. And coming into this spring, plenty of questions surrounding the defending national champs. And as A-Day ends, still plenty of questions and not a lot of answers.
All in all, we made a lot of progress this spring. Not completely satisfied with where we are, but certainly excited about the opportunities that we have to try to improve.
It was the first team defense who wins the A-Day game by a final score of 24-12. The defense able to keep Jalen Hurts and the starting offense out of the end zone the entire game.
We've got some guys that can rush a little bit, and I think that even though we're rushing four guys most of the time, there was way too much pressure in the pocket for the quarterback to be able to operate like we'd like.
And the surprising star of A-Day was third-string quarterback Mac Jones, who steps in and throws for 289 yards and 2 touchdowns.
It was cool to see him out there doing a good job. I mean, he made some really pretty throws, and I was just thinking about that steak dinner going away, every time that he was making throws like that. So
the good news for the Crimson Tide, every team right now has questions. It is only spring practice after all. They still have the entire summer and fall to figure things out before their season opener against Louisville in the fall. At Bryant-Denny Stadium, Chris Rankel, CBS 42.
From outdoor scrimmage to arena football, Lions hosting Jacksonville yesterday, a rematch of last year's national championship. On third down, Ryan Walker hits Antonio Vaughn in the back of the end zone. Lions still up 14-7. Sharks driving once again, and it's Vaughn once again. Gets a short screen and finds the end zone. Lead down to 3 for the Lions. Mason Espinoza hits Deron Neal. The clock is ticking, though, and he finally gets into the end zone just before the half. Lions go up by 10, and they would go on to win by 10, 51-41. It's the first time the Lions have ever beaten the Sharks. Sweet revenge, too. This past week marked the start of the Alabama high school playoffs. Round 1 had everything from multiple ejections to shutout performances, and we also saw 2 local teams vie for an area title. When it's win or go home in the playoffs, emotions are bound to run high. But it got out of hand in yesterday's decisive Game 3 between Northridge and Opelika. Tempers flared and warnings were given in the very first inning. The Dogs pounced first, scoring 2 after 2 innings, which featured an RBI single and a run scored via balk. And a separate balk call is what led to this. With 2 outs and 2 on, it looked like the Knights' Joe Ingram would get out of the inning. But he was called for his 4th balk of the game. He lost control, got thrown out of the game, and chaos ensued between fans on both sides. After about 20 minutes, play resumed, but not before the Northridge coach and another player were tossed from the game. Opelika added 2 more runs, and sophomore Andrew Parr finished the job, getting a complete game victory to lead the Dogs to the second round of the playoffs.
It was a lot of the last games for those guys, and that it's not a reflection of them. We're playing with a lot of intensity. And I mean, we knew coming into this game that we were win or go home. That's the reason we played with such intensity. I knew I could get it done. My team believed in me. I believed in my team to make plays, and that's what happened.
It's high school kids out here playing, some of them for their last game, could be. You know, some emotions got loose during the game, and I was really proud of our guys for calming down and cheering for our own team. And it's a great to play another week, and there's some teams that aren't practicing right now. I'm glad we get to go back to work on Monday.
This week also featured a 3-game series between Auburn and Smith Station, with a 7-area title up for grabs. The Panthers needed only 1 win to clinch the title, while the Tigers needed 2 wins. Auburn took a 4-2 game on the road and then won the next day 3-2.
Well, it gives you some momentum because you had home field advantage, which is key in the playoffs. And it was great 2 games. I mean, both of them well pitched, both of them well played. They're very resilient, and they come back, and I cannot say enough. They just love to compete, and they just love to win, and tonight it just came our way.
To wrap up this week, Russell County's Hunter Millam outpitched Daphne in Game 1, striking out 14 batters in a 1-0 win. And then Logan Austin followed that up with a gem of his own en route to a 4-1 victory in Game 2. All right, more baseball. The Chattahoochee Valley Pirates are ranked 8th in the country. A big reason for that is pitcher Cole Ganopoulos. He threw a no-hitter last week, won pitcher and player of the week the past 2 weeks, and was dealing once again on Thursday. Ganopoulos struck out 8 with no earned runs, leading the Pirates to a 2-0 win, in Game 1.
They just try to battle out there and stay in the zone. I mean, you do that, you can be successful. I mean, I think our pitching staff is really good. We got a lot of good starters, and then bullpen whenever we need guys. They can come in and shut the door whenever we need them. We're real deep.
Pirates took Game 2 10-0 in just 5 innings. Their overall record is 25-3. Spring signings continued this week. On Tuesday afternoon, Northside's Michaela Clements signed for a future at Huntington College in Montgomery, where she's going to play volleyball for the Hawks. Also that day, Greg Countryman Jr. from Hardaway signed to play basketball at another Huntington, this one in Huntington Prep in West Virginia. And then the next day, Marion County's Tori Myers signed a basketball scholarship with Fort Valley State University. And finally, on Friday, Bria Henry from Kendrick High School signed to play basketball at CVCC.
I went on campus and I absolutely just fell in love with it. I did go and visit a lot of different places, but Huntington just had a really great family atmosphere, and I love the school, and it's got a great academic program for what I want to do. So I can't wait to spend my next 4 years there. It's going to be a really great place and a really great new home.
Signing is excited because that's something that I dreamed of as a kid, and it's finally something that I accomplished. So I'm thankful for it and grateful. I just want to get better overall and get closer to God. Everything, it should work out.
Well, I feel like if I can do it, anyone can do it. It just takes hard work and dedication, because I came from nothing, playing my 9th grade year, well, rarely playing my 9th grade year, and starting to play towards my junior year and starting, and just keep working and keep your grades up, because grades are important.
Oh yeah, so you know the deal.
Most definitely. Still to come on the last call, we take a look back at the key games from SEC baseball and softball. And Auburn scored how many in their 3-game series at Alabama? Plus, we broke down the week that was in Alabama high school baseball. And now we take a look ahead at how far the teams could go with a sit-down interview with OA Now beat writer Scott Fields. It's coming. For the first time since 1976, Auburn swept Alabama in Tuscaloosa. In Game 1, the number 25 Tigers won 19-5. That's the most runs in an SEC game for the Tigers since 2010. They blanked the Tide 5-0 in Game 2, and then somehow scored even more than Game 1, putting up 20 runs in Game 3. Meanwhile, Georgia, a team ranked 6 spots ahead of Auburn, beat number 7 Ole Miss in Game 1, but then lost the next 2 to drop their road series against the Rebels. In softball, the number 7 Lady Bulldogs are also ranked higher than Auburn and Alabama. This weekend, they took 2 out of 3 games against Kentucky. Number 13 Auburn swept number 16 Arkansas in the Tigers' last home series of the year, and number 17 Alabama will likely move down after losing their series against Tennessee. All right, joining me now is our expert of the week, Scott Fields. He's from Opelika Auburn News, and he's the preps writer. So Scott, we had a huge 3-game series this past week between Smith Station and number 1 Auburn. What do you think of these two teams heading into the playoffs for them?
Well, both offer a great deal of support. I mean, they have some absolutely tremendous pitching. You look at both of them. You have Clay Weatherly and Jerry Bale Bowman from Smith Station. Both of them are a 1A, 1B type. I mean, Clay Weatherly ended up picking up the loss in the second game, but he threw a perfect game through 5 innings and allowed 2 hits. You know, they're going to come in as the second seed out of the area. However, Smith Station is one of the single best teams that I've seen in this area. Of course, that can be said, though, about any of those 3, Central, Phoenix City, Auburn, and Smith Station. It's, you know, these are 3 perennial top 10 teams. And Auburn, you look at their opportunities to go into the postseason. They're going in as #1 seed from the area. You know, you have Drew Jennings, you have Brooks Fuller. Both of them are absolutely fantastic pitchers. You know, you got an Auburn University signing in Fuller, and
Right.
Drew is probably your #1 guy out of Auburn, and either one of them can throw a complete 7-game, you know, shutout for you any given night.
So we know Auburn was pretty much won the whole season. How far do you think Smith Station can get? Because they won it in 2015.
You know, I will not count against them. They have all the opportunities in the world. With what they've got in the batting, they have one of the best teams, best hitting teams in the area. I would not be surprised to see both of them advance to the point of getting Auburn and Smith Station in a, you know, heads-up. I mean, one of the, I guess it'll be about 3 weeks in or so. You know, they could very well easily see each other again.
A team with a bright future is also Opelika. They advanced to the second round. It was a heated Game 3. We saw a lot of players getting thrown out. It was kind of wild up there, but they had a great series against Northridge from Tuscaloosa. How far do you think the Bulldogs can go, and did we expect them to be this good this year?
You know, I honestly did. You know, of course, Jackson Reynolds is going to be leading you out. He's the Texas A&M signee for them on the mound. I feel like they've almost been a little bit underrated all year. Opelika has a tremendous team as far as coaching. You know, you got Nick Richardson out there. He's done a tremendous job with this program. And, you know, when you're talking about Jackson Reynolds, Andrew Parr, Micah Christensen, all 3 of them on the mound. And, you know, you've got some behind them as well, you know, the bullpen. But between them and what they've got hitting, Opelika, you know, I could definitely see them moving on.
One team that's not underrated is Glenwood. We're used to seeing them in the championship. Where is the ceiling for Glenwood, and is it a title year again?
Do you want to set a ceiling for Glenwood? That's, you know, that's the big part.
That's fair.
You know, fortunately for them, they're another situation where you have Glenwood and Lee Scott in the same direct area in the AISA. They are 2 great programs within that same group. These are 2 programs that are well stocked and ready to go, you know, a little bit further into the postseason.
We'll just have to wait and see, but I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much for joining me, Scott.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for our Expert of the Week. We're still serving on the last call. So the Braves are doing how good? The wins keep coming for Atlanta. We're going to break down their series wins over the Phillies and the Mets after this.
First and third pitch. He bunts. Gonzalez throws late. Braves win.
A walk-off win to give Atlanta the series win over the Mets. They still had 1 game left today, but it was canceled with all the weather going on. In their 6 games this week, 2 went to extra innings. The Braves lost both. But the other 4 games were all wins for Atlanta. Former Philly Ryan Flaherty smashed a 3-run home run to right center, helping the Braves win 7-3 and take the series from Philadelphia on Thursday. The Braves are now 12-8 overall. Of course, many experts picked the Braves to finish toward the bottom of not only the NL East, but all of Major League Baseball.
To be honest, I was going to swing the bat, but when I walked in there, I knew Camargo was ready. That I always tell Wash to tell him to be ready. And I saw the second baseman, first baseman a little deep, and I said I'm going to lay one down. And it ended up working. Camargo made a great slide, and we ended up winning this great ball game.
I feel like I needed to do my job. I know we were facing one of the toughest lineup in the game right now, and you know, I just wanted to do my work. First time working with Carlos, and I think we did pretty good.
7 straight road games coming up for the Braves this week, 4 games in Cincinnati, and then 3 games with the Phillies again. Speaking of the Braves, 6-time All-Star Joey Bats is coming to Atlanta. This week, the Braves announced they signed former Toronto Blue Jay Jose Bautista to a 1-year minor league deal. Bautista led the American League in home runs in both 2010 and 2011, but he struggled his last few years with the Blue Jays. He was not signed by any team in the offseason and is coming cheap for the Braves. If he makes it to the big leagues, he's only going to make $1 million. Shoot, I'll take $1 million. All right, welcome back to Picks of the Week. 2 weeks ago, I missed all of my picks, and last week I got them all right, still in first place, so no worries. I'm joined as always by Connor Hackling. So Connor, we're picking an MLS game this week. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Sporting KC, which I'm not sure if that's a hunting club or a soccer team. They're going to beat New England.
I'm not the right person to ask about that.
So I'm going to go with the hunting club over New England.
Okay, so I don't know anything about Canadian teams, but I'm going to take Toronto FC over Chicago. All right, so moving on, we're going to pick the #1 pick in the NFL draft. Or if you think that pick is traded, you know, etc. Who do you have as the #1 pick?
Yeah, I thought about going with a surprise here, but there's too many reports out there that this is the way the Browns are going. I'm going to go Sam Darnold, USC.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold's going to be the easy choice, but you never know what the Browns are going to do.
No, you never know.
So we'll just have to wait and see. And then for our personal pick, anything in the world, what do you want?
Well, I'm going to go back. It's never worked for me yet to this point. Going to go back to NASCAR. There is a big race coming up this weekend, Talladega. I'm going to go Chase Elliott to get his first ever NASCAR win.
Always taking the risk of NASCAR.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right, so there is still an NHL series that I have my eye on, the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think they're going to upset the Capitals. A lot of overtime games. I'm going to take them in Game 7, so no, it's not the Caps here. All right, let's go to Jack with his picks.
Thanks a lot, Justin and Connor. Now let's get things off, literally, with the MLS. Now, out of the 4 of us, I think Brendan and myself are the experts here at News 3 when it comes to the beautiful game. So give me New York City FC over FC Dallas. NYC FC sit atop the Eastern Conference, and I expect them to have a great battle with the Atlanta United for the top spot throughout the summer. Now, as for the NFL draft, the Browns are definitely going to draft their quarterback in the future. Again, with the #1 pick. Again, you see where I'm going with this. Anyway, I agree with the guy. Sam Darnold out of USC gets the top spot for this year. Now, my personal pick, just to take a shot at Justin for jinxing my Nashville Predators in Game 5 Friday night, give me the Atlanta Braves to at least split their 4-game set on the road against those vaunted Cincinnati Reds. Now, here's Brendan Robertson's picks for this week since he's been on the road all week. He's taking the LA Galaxy over the New York Red Bulls. Shout out to Zlatan. He's taking Josh Allen to be the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft. And he's doubling down on the Toronto Raptors. He's picking them to win Game 5 over the Washington Wizards later this week. Now, let's send things back over to Justin.
All right, thanks, Jack. The 2018 NFL schedule is out, and we're going to break down the Falcons' schedule and the most important games.
This season, resilience turns to fury, but the standard remains unchanged. Along our path, we can knock out a champion,
Rifled by Keanu Neal,
break steel, and take down giants.
It looks like a Marvel movie. The NFL schedule is out, and in Week 1, the Falcons travel to Philadelphia to take on the Super Bowl champs. As many fans remember, the Eagles defeated the Falcons 15-10 in the NFC divisional round last season en route to Philly's first ever Super Bowl. After that game comes maybe the biggest 2-game stretch Atlanta has all season. In Week 2, the Falcons host Carolina, followed by another home game against division rival New Orleans, who the Falcons will also play on Thanksgiving. Their schedule features the first ever Monday Night Football game in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where the Falcons take on the New York Giants. Well, for our Athletes of the Week, we had the Central High School boys 1,600-meter relay team. Here's Carlos Williams.
The Central High School Red Devil Boys 1,600-meter relay team, already known as one of the best in the state, can now boast of being one of the best in the country with their new 35th national ranking.
With us having the state record last year and we broke that, we want to continue to break it and show that Central has a 4x4 team and we're good at the 400.
The best thing about it is knowing that the hard work paid off, especially when a lot of people thought you couldn't do it. It's a good feeling to prove everybody wrong.
Oh, I knew we were in a pretty good time because at the 100 I saw that we had a pretty good chance of breaking the school record and breaking the meet record. So I was like, oh, we did something good.
Our mindset this year was to go out there and have fun and just run. And basically we just been doing good because we got a good bond.
Meanwhile, head coach Charles Fortune agrees that these young men have fought through injuries and have worked extremely hard.
They committed to putting forth their best effort every day and trying to get better every day. And it started to pay off, you know, after the indoor season.
Now, with a group this fast, you would think that they'd have a nickname like the Speed Merchants or the Road Runners. This group doesn't. However, they are thinking about calling themselves the Four Horsemen.
Well, we're hoping that we can remain number one in the state. They've been number one in the state ever since the outdoor season started. You know, our goal is still to get better and to run faster every time we run.
And so we'll say congratulations to the Four Horsemen, the record-setting Central High School boys 1,600-meter relay team, our Cody Road Trophies and Jewels Athletes of the Week. At Central High School, I'm Carlos Williams for News 3 Sports, on your side.
Make it happen.
Coming up is the last part of the last call. "48 young women from 24 schools all across the Chattahoochee Valley were recognized the other day at the 3rd annual Female Athletes of the Year. The event is presented by Dale Williams and DJ Jones of Sports Visions. That's all the time we have for the last call. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Justin Holbrook. Same time next week.